In 1950, soaring above the Balkan Mountains, arms dealer Anatole is on his private jet. Out of nowhere, he hears a strange sound, and when he glances back, his assistant explodes, ripping a hole in the cabin. The plane begins spiraling down, so Anatole rushes to the cockpit and starts giving emergency flying tips. When one engine bursts into flames, the pilot panics and shouts at Anatole, blaming him for flying against advice. The pilot threatens to report him if they survive. So Anatole fires him on the spot and ejects his seat, quickly taking control of the jet himself. Seconds later, the aircraft crash lands in a cornfield, and news outlets quickly announce Anatole's supposed death. In the afterlife, Anatole finds himself next to his grandmother, but she doesn't recognize him. A celestial court debates if Anatole deserves to enter heaven, but then he suddenly regains consciousness amidst the plane wreck, badly injured but still breathing. Stumbling through the cornfield, he interrupts a live TV interview with the pilot, forcing the media to correct the news. Anatole is alive. Back at his mansion, Anatole is tended to by a squad of nurses. Meanwhile, a covert organization led by a figure named Excalibur discusses Anatole's long list of crimes: tax fraud, war profiteering, corporate collusion, and bribery. They agree it's time to permanently bring him down. Once Anatole recovers, he summons his only daughter Lisel, who's now a nun. He surprises her by naming her his sole heir, leaving nothing to his 9 biological sons. Anatole has always ignored his own sons, preferring to raise orphans who now watch from the balcony. Lisel is suspicious, as she hasn't seen him in years. He tells her he wants her to avenge him if his enemies succeed. He then shows her a set of boxes containing his newest project, the Phoenician Scheme. Lisel interrupts to ask about her mother, amid rumors that Anatole killed her, along with his other wives. Anatole denies everything, claiming he loved her mother and has never killed anyone. Lisel reminds him he abandoned her at a convent as a child, but Anatole brushes it off, focusing back on the boxes. Inside are blueprints for dams, tunnels, canals, labor forces, shipping contracts, and black market deals. All designed to dominate Phoenicia's industries using forced labor. Their conversation is interrupted when one of the boys accidentally shoots a flaming arrow at a box. The butler quickly extinguishes the fire, and Anatole storms off to discipline his sons. Lisel then meets Anatole's new assistant, Bjorn. When Anatole returns, Lisel asks about the last mysterious box. Anatole calls it the Gap, and says they'll discuss it later. He asks Lisel to abandon her religious vows and join his scheme. At lunch, Anatole tests Bjorn with a polygraph to confirm he's not a spy. Over the next few days, Anatole continues dealing in contraband while Lisel inspects the boxes, disturbed by the unethical plans, yet tempted by the fortune she could later use for good. Bjorn starts mentoring the boys, who lack real affection. One day, Anatole reveals Lisel's mother was actually murdered, not a victim of an accident as records claim. He suspects his half-brother Nubar, despite their ongoing business ties. Lisel vows to confront Nubar. She agrees to sign onto Anatole's plan as a way to get closer to the truth. Meanwhile, Excalibur presents a plan to drive up the price of bashable rivets, a key component in Anatole's projects, to sabotage him. When Anatole learns of the sabotage, he wakes Lisel and prepares to renegotiate all the contracts. He's hired arsonists to burn down his estate if things go badly. As they travel, Excalibur monitors their movements, also noting Anatole's worsening head injuries from past attacks. During the flight, Lisel notices they're transporting a box of grenades. Anatole refuses to say if he's used them before. He tests Bjorn again with the polygraph and entrusts him with his cash. Lisel and Bjorn grow closer, and he confesses he doesn't believe in God, but finds her fascinating. When landing, Anatole casually mentions another bomb threat, pushing Lisel to pray. They arrive at a mountain tunnel under construction. Anatole tells Lisel he's always kept tabs on her life. Just then, assassins on camels appear. The driver tries to retrieve grenades but is gunned down. Prince Farooq and his guards arrive, opening fire and scaring off the attackers. Farooq flirts with Lisel, compliments her, and gifts her a new knife. Anatole thanks him with a grenade in return. They tour the unstable tunnel. Lisel is nervous but Anatole reassures her. Both Farooq and Bjorn offer comfort, but she refuses. They meet financiers Leland and Reagan, who are angry over Anatole's contract changes. Anatole proposes settling the dispute with a basketball game, the brothers versus Anatole and the inexperienced Farooq. While waiting, Bjorn persuades Lisel to try alcohol for the first time and continues flirting. Farooq struggles on the court, distracted by the brothers' insults. Anatole grows desperate and tells Lisel how he delivered her at birth and regrets sending her to the convent. He shares that she's the only child he ever cherished. For the final shot, if Farooq makes it, the brothers must accept the old contract and cover part of the gap. If he misses, Anatole will forfeit all his money. Farooq makes the shot. Later, Anatole dreams of the afterlife again, where he's told Lisel isn't really his daughter. He wakes up on the plane and tells Lisel she has his eyes, but she notices they match her uncle's too. A call comes in from Bob, a business partner, confirming the brothers agreed to cover the full gap. Lisel catches Anatole lying, but he calls it strategy. Suddenly Bjorn discovers another bomb on board, but Anatole dismisses it since they'll land soon. That night at Bob's club, Anatole gives him a grenade. Lisel drinks again. Bob gets a blackmail letter, handwriting matches Anatole's. An argument erupts, revealing the brothers actually covered only a fraction of the gap. The dispute is interrupted when Sergio's guerrilla unit storms the club. Bob confronts the attackers. Anatole shields him and takes a bullet, but his papers slow it down. Impressed, Bob agrees to help with the gap. Later, the group sails to meet Captain Marty, another investor. Marty refuses to contribute but accepts Anatole's grenade gift. Suddenly Anatole collapses from blood loss. He dreams of Lisel's childhood memories of her mother's death and his cold farewell. He wakes during a blood transfusion. He confesses to Lisel that her mother had many affairs, including with Nubar. He faked a breakup letter to Nubar, which may have led to the murders. Lisel slaps him after he admits he never loved her mother. Anatole apologizes and is surprised when Lisel easily forgives him. He gives Marty a new proposal. But Marty rejects it until Anatole pulls a grenade pin in frustration. They all laugh, and Marty agrees to help. Excalibur learns Anatole's plans through a mole. Later, Anatole proposes to his cousin Hilda, but she declines to fund him. She recounts an old family feud that split them. Lisel asks her about her paternity, but Hilda only knows rumors. On the flight home, Anatole gets urgent news. A law just passed to imprison him unless he gets home by noon. As he reroutes the flight, Lisel realizes Bjorn is using Morse code. Anatole sounds the alarm. The pilot was poisoned. He ejects the pilot and takes control. A fighter jet attacks, forcing a crash landing in the woods. Bjorn's bag bursts open, revealing his fake IDs. He admits he's Excalibur's spy but now sides with Lisel. Anatole tries to fight him but is easily beaten. Bjorn follows when Anatole stumbles into quicksand. Anatole tells them to leave him, but Bjorn saves him anyway. Anatole asks how Bjorn beat the polygraph. Bjorn says it's simple with the right training. That night, they bond over childhood trauma. Lisel decides to quit Anatole's business and return to church. Suddenly, Sergio's crew arrives and flies them home. Mother Superior is waiting and releases Lisel from her vows. Anatole donates to the church and considers baptism for a better afterlife. He gives Lisel a box from his father's notary. Inside the box are old family items, ashes, letters, poison capsules, and a key. Anatole plans to announce his final proposal at a hotel conference. He marries Hilda and baptizes his sons. To sway the Pope's investment, Bjorn arranges a meeting with Excalibur, where Anatole vows not to let him win. At the hotel, Anatole identifies an assassin in the elevator who self-poisons. Before the meeting, Anatole asks to adopt Lisel even if she isn't his daughter. She agrees. They finally meet Nubar, who declines Anatole's grenade gift. Nubar reveals Lisel's true father was likely the secretary. A polygraph proves Anatole didn't kill his wives. Lisel opens the box, finding family relics and poisons. Nubar quits the project out of curiosity. In the elevator, Anatole decides to spend his fortune closing the gap and paying workers. At the conference, he announces this, overheard by Excalibur via hidden mic. Nubar later confronts Anatole, but a fight breaks out, ending with Nubar's death by grenade after he recalls family memories. In a final vision, Anatole and Lisel place the ashes back in the safe. Eventually, Anatole lives a modest life with Lisel and the boys, now receiving real family care. Bjorn teaches at a school. Hilda annuls their marriage and starts her own camp. Anatole runs a restaurant with Lisel's help. Hilda returns the ring, which Bjorn uses to propose to Lisel. They all enjoy a peaceful life, playing cards at the end of the day. Lisel hopes the Phoenician Scheme at least gives people decent jobs.